you know, let's say you go on a few dates and you got some good communication going as a man with a few different ladies, and you know, now you're trying to really, you know, narrow down your, you know, your roster to, you know, to 2 or 3, and now you can't make a decision. Do y'all think that a man can, you know, actually be in love with, or, you know, have love for multiple women at the same time? You know, is that a real thing, or are you so maybe mesmerized by all the cheeks you clapping that now you just can't make a decision? Like, how do you know if it's real emotion that you're trying to fight between women and you just being greedy?
So let me just tap on that. Like in my headspace where I was at, like I had already done all that, right? The multiple shit, I had done all that. Nigga was exhausted from doing all that bullshit. So that's why I'm like, you know what? I don't need any of that. And that's when I started getting very intentional. When I became intentional, I wasn't trying to juggle motherfuckers. I ain't got the energy for that shit. I'm not doing that shit. And I was trying to, you know, climb to the top of the ladder in my fucking career. I ain't got time to be juggling all these motherfuckers, man. Fuck that. No. And full disclosure, I was actually, I had a sexual relationship with a woman, right? When I had met my wife. First phone call, I said, I was in the middle of a sexual relationship, not dating. We were fucking, okay? When I met my wife, I was doing that, right? I waited like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks or some shit like that before I actually called my wife for the first time. The first time that she ended up like hanging out with me or whatever, like in person, hanging it and kicking it, my phone was getting blown up from the fuck buddy. I was honest. At that moment, I was honest. She was like, what you got going on? I was like, it's a little shit that I, you know, dealing with, but that's dead because there was no potential there at all. There was no potential. I'm not looking to date this woman. I'm not trying to, nah, but I see something different with you. And at that moment, I think once she left, I called that girl and was like, hey, sorry, this can't work no more. This can't happen no more because I'm not doing that shit. So when I say, fellas, when I say nigga be like, don't string people along and be honest, this is the level of honesty, fellas. Could that have been risky? Could the potential woman who was standing right there who shows the potential of being something like more, could she have just walked off and be like, all right, nigga, you doing too much? She could have, bro. But then she wouldn't have been right for me because I need somebody that's going to be ready to hear all this fucking honesty, all this shit, bro, skeletons and all that shit. And if you not that, you not ready.
So I have a story.
Go ahead, Kelly.
So I used to be engaged to a gentleman, and he was Muslim, and he's one of 6 brothers, and every single one of his brothers had between 2 to 3 wives because they believe you could have up to 4. But when I met him, I met one of the brothers that only had 1 wife, and she was like, yeah, I told him I was never going to be okay with him being with another woman. But I guess after 28 years of marriage and her having 8 children, he decided that he wanted to have a second wife. And once he decided that, she agreed to it. And it was like a split up of the time. Like every other day, he was at one woman's house and then at his wife's house, and it would be back and forth. And according to their religion, it can work successfully. But when I tell you it did not work at all, and it ended up in devastating both sides. So can a man love multiple women at the same time? I think he thinks he can, but I don't think in reality it's actually going to work out.
Yeah, because even to that example, like, did he do those other brothers? And I don't imagine that you really know the answer to this or whatnot, but just asking, do you think that these men love these women, or is it more of a, you know, duty bound lifestyle and culture where
love is duty? Love is duty. We talked about this on King Talk a couple weeks back. Please go back, ladies, please go back and watch King Talk. I think 2 weeks ago, we drove this nail into the ground. Love is not an emotion. It's not feeling, right? Oh, the butterflies I get in my stomach when he kisses me on my neck.
It's a decision.
Nigga, you're horny. That's not love, okay? That's lust. Love is duty. And you know what? It's crazy because I live in this space, but I'll be honest, I don't even know if I truly understood the definition until, you know, you got nigga. I'm gonna just go ahead and call Trill the motherfucking sensei, because that nigga is smart beyond his fucking years, bro. Shout out to Crew Season. Shout out to Trill. We fucking with your boy. But the way he broke it down and explained that this is duty, right? And I don't even want to fuck it up how he explained it. All I'm gonna suggest is, ladies, go back to that episode like 2 weeks ago on King Talk where we discussed love. And it is duty. It isn't a fucking feeling of emotion, you know, when your dick gets hard or your cat get wet. No, that's not fucking love. That's lust. Me saying, you know what? I would rather just sit my ass on the fucking couch, but my wife needs this, 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 and this. My son needs this, this, and this. That thing that gets me the fuck up to go and do that thing, that's love. That's not, oh, when my son hugs me, oh, it just that warm feeling. That's not love, bro.
I agree with you, Quest. And not only is it duty, but I think the duty creates an incubator for the emotion. So those two things are tied. I do agree that love itself is not just emotion, because emotion is fleeting. When you truly love somebody, if that duty is gonna be consistent regardless of what is going on. But I do think when you create an environment of duty, that it does create the other aspect of love, which is the emotional connection. It deepens that emotional connection as well.
Well, CC, you said you think, well, I'd love to hear
what CC had. Take it.
I want to get Tay and CC in there too. You know, well, what are y'all thoughts just on the woman's perspective? You know, do you think a man can love you and somebody else at the same? And do you agree with Quest and the point he made in regards to what happened on King Talk? Like, is love more action bound and duty bound, or do you think it's more that warm feeling you get when things happen?
I think love is a choice, and I talk. All my friends are married. All my close friends are married, except for maybe one. And something that they say all the time is, you need to find someone that you could choose to love every day. Like, you may not like them, but it's a choice to love them every day. My marriage works because I choose, even in those hard times, I choose to love my spouse. I choose to still wake up. I still choose to do things for them. It is a choice. So if you have that mindset, it's not a warm, fuzzy feeling, because warm, fuzzy feelings are going to go away over time. And what are you going to have without those warm, fuzzy feelings? Are you going to have a marriage? Like, what are you going to do? Like, in that relationship, is it going to be like, well, there's no warm, fuzzy feelings, so I guess this is over? You know, like, that's not how it works. So I'm on more of Quest, that you could choose. I think there are people who are in polyamorous relationships who they are with multiple people. I can't get into that dynamic because I'm not in one, but I do see people who make that work and that lifestyle work. So can a man love two different women? Absolutely. I think so.
Tay, what do you think? Or go ahead, Bruiser.
You can get the ladies first.
Yeah. Tay, what do you think about that? Oh, you muted. We can't hear you.
You're on mute. Yeah.
No, we can't hear you.
She has audio issues. Yeah.
We see your lips moving. Well, Jay, Bruiser, what do y'all think? You know, just in regards to love being, you know, action. And you know, I feel like I'm not going to even say that I disagree, but I think sometimes when all of life's responsibilities have been taken care of, and now y'all are old, you know what I mean? Like, what's keeping the marriage together then? You know, outside of taking care of one another, you know, what is it, emotion, or is it now just additional duty that you're putting towards your spouse?
I would say it's just obligation, and I don't want to use duty for the sake of I'm not an advocate for redefining terms and stuff. I would say love. I would piggyback off of CC when she said choice. So if it's choice, then yes. You know, I believe love is something one chooses to express, and in that expression, it's not limited to one single being. So if any man decides to have a relationship that encompasses loving more than one woman in hopes to optimize the expression, his protection, provisions, and intimacy should be fairly distributed amongst all the women that's involved. If this cannot be, if it can't be done, I would deem that man not capable of that condition. But so long as he can do that, then yeah, it can be done. But there's a lot of men out here don't have the capacity to be able to provide and show it evenly amongst all parties. And that's including yourself. So if you can do that, then more power to you. There's just not a lot of people out here with those type of provisions.
I don't even think it's provision. I don't even think it's just the provision aspect. So when you love somebody, like Quest said, it is duty, right? It is responsibility. Just like we've had conversations before about like men saying women working and trying to take care of a family. At some point, you can't give 100% to each. You can't give 100% to your job without neglecting some aspects of your family, because you can't be in two places at once. So when you say a man can love more than one person, if we're focusing on all aspects of that love, the provision, yes, you may be able to provide equally among all of them, but then it extends beyond needs, and it also includes warmth, care, sustainability, all of those things, and time. And if I require time and you say, well, I'm limited in my time because I have to split it evenly among each of you, then as a woman, I know I would feel like I'm being unloved.
Well, whenever I make this, hold on real quick. Let me respond real quick, Quest. When I stated provisions, I compensated for all those things. I provide emotional connection, warmth, all that, whatever you want to call it, time, whatever. It's something that a man is providing. So it's not just limited to his ability to bring a paycheck home and financial, whatever. It's all of those things. If he can do that evenly, then yeah, he has the capability. If he has the capability to do it, then yeah, go for it. But I'm saying that a lot of men can't.
If you have 4 women, right? Look at $1. You got 4 quarters make up $1, right? But if I'm saying I'm the woman that I need the 100% of the time, and you're saying I have 4 women, you will not be able to provide me with.
Then eliminate it. That means that there's an understanding between the women that this man is affiliating himself with. These women have an understanding that they have to share the time if they're going to be with one person. It's just simple math. So if you need 100% of the time, that means everybody else gets 0%. So you just eliminate yourself. So he would then find someone else to fill your void.
Yes.
So it's still going to be done. It's just that once you come to the table with these women that you desire to have a polyamorous relationship with, it's an understanding.
Yes.
Got you. I see what you said.
Ladies, let's be very clear here. Oh, my bad. Bruiser, were you done? I didn't want to chop you off. My bad. Okay. My bad. So ladies, listen. Stop saying that men can't do it. They can't do it. They can't love more than one woman. Y'all don't know what the fuck men can do. The men that you guys have encountered cannot do those things. But to suggest that men in general just can't love more than one person or more than one woman and be able to provide equally all these different things, the men that you guys have come across can't do that, clearly, right?
So can I ask you a question?
There are men that are out there that can do that.
Shots fired.
I'm just being honest, though.
I think what we mean is they can't.
I think Kelly had a question mistaken.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kelly. Sorry.
No, I just have a question for Quest, because everyone's saying love is duty, love is choice. It's not a feeling, it's fleeting emotion, which I agree with all those things. But if you are choosing to wake up in the morning to love your wife every day, at what point do you choose another woman? Like, do her feelings or emotions no longer matter? Because I'm pretty sure if you decided tomorrow, I think I want a second wife, your wife wouldn't be okay with that.
So to answer your question, I wouldn't wake up like that because that's me. But let's just say, for instance, I was a dude that was looking to have multiple wives. And let's just say Rosie was the first one. I just showed you and explained to you how open book I am about my world. If that was something that I wanted, I would tell her, hey, look, I am a dude that's looking to have multiple wives. You could potentially be the first, but that's not to suggest you are going to be the last. I just sat here and discussed like how open book I was.
I was listening.
You think it would be any different?
I use you as an example.
She was just talking generally.
It's just an example because you're married.
Right. So
Yeah,
I'm suggesting that there are men out here that would want a second wife or a third wife.
Right. But the story I told to start the conversation was a friend of mine who experienced this, and after 28 years of marriage, he just popped this on her.
Well,
So
I wonder why. I wonder why, because it sounds like we're getting right immediately into blaming him. Were there some things that she may have not been doing, or she fell off, or blah, 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 blah?
But so what I'm saying is, if love is a choice, why not choose to stick it out with that person if that was the commitment that you agreed upon?
Because you said it, because it's a choice.
If you're in a relationship, say, I have no problem with the poly thing, if that's said at the beginning, hey, whatever, I'm into having multiple wives, you won't be the first. Cool. Then you can decide to be a part of that shit. But if you make a commitment with one person and then all of a sudden you're dedicated, you have kids, and now you want to hit me with this, I don't think that that is fair.
So here's what I'll say to that.
Nobody said it was fair.
Here's what I'll say to that. One, I don't think that's the normal thing that happens out here. It's like niggas get married for 28 years and be like, hey, I want to bring on another fucking wife. So I think what you're talking about is extremely anecdotal, right?
I don't think that is. You think everything's extreme. It happens a lot more than you think.
That is very extreme. 28 years.
You be having.
Maybe they
never heard of this. I've never heard of this.
Maybe they don't have other wives, but they start sleeping with other women. That happens a whole lot. Maybe it's not
now when you change that.
It is a lot of couples.
Real quick.
It is a lot of couples out here going to getting a third little somebody to come up in their rooms and spice things up after 20 years of marriage.
They'll have like a wife and a husband, like we're looking for a fun buddy. It happens so much these days. So,
but it's a reason behind it. It's not like nobody just waking up and saying, "Oh, I want another wife." There's some thought that's going into that, and there's some reason why this man is wanting to do that. So I think the conversation that you had with this person that went through that is probably holding out some information that could be critical to why he made a decision.